G'day traders, 1 minute mindset reset. Just had a fantastic workout. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Canada again. I can't believe the winter that we've had. A few fresh days, but literally February, I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt and a sweater and the odd dusting of snow and a couple cold, windy, snowy days, and then sunshine again. It's been a fantastic first winter back. Today we're talking about developing your skills, and an excellent email from a trader. He asked, or she asked, what did you do to perfect or to improve your skills in live time? And that's a really good question. And I've talked about this in several videos, and I always use the phrase, it's a game of constant progress, because you can make mistakes on any given day. You can, enter into emotional, impulsive, irrational behavior at any trigger or any, stage of overconfidence or exuberance or false sense of elation, or even if you're depressed or frustrated or impatient, angry, if you're agitated, if you have a situation in your home environment, or if your work environment isn't conducive to your trading, or you're trying to trade around a work full-time job, all of these things can interfere with the true clarity of executing your skill in live time at the screen. So one of the things that I learned too late in the picture, if I'd learned this earlier, it would have saved me a lot of probably heartache and pain, but possibly not, is that, I always talk about focusing on trading setups, but it took me a long time to actually understand what those were in terms of high probability. So I would still go to the screen and execute what I thought was technical analysis type of trades. They weren't actual trade setups based on the thesis of a market exploding or capitulating, based on the timings, the setups, the pump and dumps. I didn't know what any of that was in the mechanics of how it would actually set up and trade out in live time. So there was a long process of learning through failing. And, that is something that I always say I don't recommend for anybody, because it was soul destroying in terms of some of the damage that I went through, not only financially, but emotionally. It was an extremely arduous and emotionally painstaking process over time, because I kept making repetitive errors. I kept engaging in impulsive behavior. I kept going to the screen and just taking trades. I actually didn't prepare and execute the process. So I hammer home every day almost in the video the importance of the process, the importance of hindsight, because I laugh at all these other gurus that talk about stuff who I know it's not real in live time. It's not scalable. It's not repeatable. You think that it is, but it's not really scalable with size. And so one of the things that I learned from one of my mentors was about taking certain trade setups and understanding which ones could be sized into and which ones were session scalps. But as your account grows, those session scalps become fairly sizable if you're patient and you just allow them to set up. So it was if you're struggling, one of the number one things you can do is size down, like trade super small and just focus on the process and the execution of the trade, so that there's no fear involved, but you've still got some skin in the game, even if it's just a micro lot. Focus on nailing the trade setup, a perfectly executed trade setup that's out of the playbook or your playbook, that's a rinse and repeat setup. Because if you can do 25 pips a day, you can do, whatever, $25 a day, $250 a day, $2,500 a day, $25,000 a day. There are certain trade opportunities, as we've seen this week, that can be $250,000 a day. Now, you're not going to get those every day. There's a reason why those big trades are set up. And so when I talk about using size and position sizing, that came at a learning expense as well. So the big 3-day parabolic moves offer sizable opportunities, and you can, I'll load the boat on those because, as I said, they're not coming back. But in a session trade, okay, we may be now down to 1/10 of the size because those are potentially just going to be 25 to 50 pip collapses or blow-offs, vertical blow-offs. There might be 75, but it might just be it for the session, for the day. And so you take what the market gives you, and then you call it a day and you walk away. I understood what my skill set was the more that I did this. And I also understood that I didn't want to be at the screen. I also understood the power of scaling into setups and using size. Because as I've said, 25 pips with size is better than 100 pips that's a choppy market that's no size. Like, what's the point of sitting around for 3 hours or 2 hours? I know my trade expertise is in that certain window. I want to be done in that hour and a half. I want to hit those trades and I want to lock in the money and I want to get off the screen and I don't want to go back to the market. When you go back to the market, you may be tempted to take other trades. You may be tempted to get into trades that might turn out okay. But then on another day, it might turn out to not be okay. And it might put you into an impulsive or an irrational state or an emotional state. And that's when you can engage in bad behavior. And sometimes you'll get rewarded for bad behavior and you'll repeat the process. But eventually that bad behavior will blow your account out. And I emphasize this. I say it over and over again. I know this firsthand because I've done it and I repeated it over and over again. So a lot of my rules were about maxing out my skill set. But the number one thing to do is whatever session you're trading, understand what your criteria are for identifying the best trade setup on the day in the session that you're trading. Understand what the potential of that trade setup is. Take the money, walk away, get off the screen. Focus on rinse and repeat opportunities. Don't focus on trying to guess the high or the low. As I keep saying to traders, that is not my strategy. That is not my strategy. If it goes outside of a day's high or low range and I'm heading into my session, that instrument may set up for the criteria that offers me a best trade setup. But just because something goes to the high or the low is not a reason to get into the market. It has to have a setup. And sometimes a market that's breaking out of a daily high or low is inside of a move from one side of the week to the other. So you need to recognize whether it's a trend trade or a reversal trade or no trade at all. So there's 1% better every day is about all those things, accelerating your learning. I talk about looking at a basket of 10 instruments because I'm looking for the easiest, best setup. And so if I can't recognize something, I'll usually look at gold or the indexes because the amount of movements that's there will allow me probably some sort of opportunity, but I'm willing to step back, especially with the indexes, and let them set up. It comes in that middle hour, and typically we'll see often third hour trades on oil, on gold, on indexes. But in many cases, we'll see a first hour or second hour move on gold. And sometimes even on indexes, we'll see a first hour move that can go, 100 pips and be done before the New York session even opens. So these are the things, if you understand what you're looking for and you're patient and you just come to the screen and walk through the process each day, and then start small. If you need to, start small and focus on the rinse and repeat highest probability opportunities that are going to show up over and over again. So if I'm looking for a short trade and I get a highest session, opportunity for low-hanging fruit, and it's on the Japanese yen or it's on the New Zealand dollar or it's on gold or it's on the index, I don't care what it's on, as long as it's an easy trade for me to take that I can execute. It might be the best thing that I see on the day. So I'm not going to see every opportunity every single day. Other traders are going to nail some of the better trades, and I just, for whatever reason, didn't see it. Or I got too fixated on one instrument, and that happens. That's all part of the game. But it's about getting better every single day, and in that journey, not doing any damage to yourself, psychologically or financially. So focus on the process, trade small until you master your setups, keep growing them slowly, and eventually that gets big enough, and just stick to the low-hanging fruit, the easy money. And then when you get the larger 3-day setups, understand when they're not going to come back. Don't look to counter trend them. Understand where they may be moving to. Use the clock, the timing, the time of the trade itself. How long has the market been moving? Is it an all-in session, or is it a 3-hour move, or is it just a blow off for 50, 75 pips? So keep it simple, but it's about the process each day of identifying the best pair, then identifying the best setup, executing as flawlessly as possible. If you're small, you can have a bit more focus in terms of cognitively just focusing on the execution of the trade, the patience, the timing, the levels, the extraction of profit from the market, or the management of the trade itself, or if you put a couple of small lots in, allowing a partial to trail, taking money off the table, locking it in, and then making sure that you walk back through the process with an actionable review to identify what you did well, what you could do better, and what you're going to do better on the next trade that comes up like that one, to make sure that you get more out of a winner. If you took a loss, to make sure that you cut the loss even faster if you didn't, or if it was scalable, to know that you could have scaled in and held on to it longer. Whatever those things are, but just keep getting better. Hopefully that helps, traders. I never stop working at it. Every single day I'm trying to figure out how can I get better at this. That's how I am. So focus on the journey. How good can you get? How good can you get? I love when Mike Bellafiore says that. So keep it simple. Focus on the process. 1% better every single day. Get off the screen. Get out and enjoy your life. Make trading a pursuit of happiness and mastery. Stay healthy, stay wise, and may the markets go with you. Have a great day, traders.